This is a really big decision. How are you going to get the 150 credit hours for the CPA license? Are you going to take random classes after your bachelor's? Are you going to enroll in a one-year master's program to get the 30 credits? Have you thought about the difficulty of the master's? Have you thought about the cost? Have you thought about trying to study while taking extra classes? Have you thought about the benefit of having a master's on your resume? There's a lot that goes into this really important decision and your steps to becoming a CPA. Today, we're going to break those down, go over the pros and cons of each option. I'll tell you what I did to get my CPA and my 150 hours, and I'll let you know my honest opinion. Would I do it the same or would I change and go back and do it differently? The current requirement to become a CPA is the regular 120 credit hours from your bachelor's degree plus an additional 30 credit hours. This is the current standard, and there is a current proposal out right now to lower this back to just the 120 credit hours. If you haven't heard about this proposal from the NASBA and AICPA, go check out this video here. The two general routes that you have to get these 30 additional credits are either applying college credit that you earned in high school, or you can take random classes at your current college or even at a community college to save money. You could take random classes as long as you've already satisfied your state's requirements for the specific accounting and business courses that you need to become a CPA. The other route, which is really heavily pushed, is completing a one-year master's in accounting program. Many schools offer this, and oftentimes you can just simply stay at the school you're at and complete this one-year master's program to get those extra 30 credits. Let's go over the pros and cons of taking random classes. The pros: it's going to be more affordable than a master's degree. You can go to your community college and enroll in classes for much cheaper than a traditional four-year university. You can complete these classes faster. If you're taking easier courses or things that you're already well versed in, like accounting and other business courses, they're going to be easier than your master's classes. This also might allow you to study for the CPA exam while taking these random classes that aren't as difficult as, say, a master's class. Here's some cons with taking random classes to get the 30 hours. You're not going to have that master's degree on your resume. The classes may not relate to accounting specifically if you take really easy classes. And the other con here is that you might not have any peers to work with on the CPA exam. If you're in a Master's of Accounting program, there's a good chance that everyone else there is there simply for the 30 extra hours, and they're also taking the CPA exam. So you have some camaraderie there and some team aspect, people to work with on the exams and to work through studying together. Here's the pros and cons of getting the master's in accounting. The pros: you have a master's degree on your resume. That may be a big plus down the line when it comes to jobs and promotions. This is a big pro, and what we mentioned earlier is a con for random classes, is that you're surrounded by other CPA exam candidates. It's almost guaranteed that everyone in that master's program is doing it to get their CPA license and to get those extra credits. So being surrounded by other people taking the exams the same time as you is a great environment to be in, a supportive environment, and you can get help from other friends, you can help others in your class, and you can really work off each other to study to get through those really difficult tests. Another pro here for the master's is that you might gain extra knowledge through higher level master's classes. There is value in these classes. It is not totally useless. You're going to get a deeper understanding of accounting, maybe some better judgment skills in some of your seminars, and maybe even research and being able to read research or peer-reviewed papers in accounting. And then the last pro is that these classes could aid in preparation for the CPA exam. As opposed to taking random classes that might not relate, you might get a deeper understanding of some concepts that are going to be on the test. Here are the cons for the master's in accounting. It's expensive, and I think this has got to be the biggest con. Depending on the school you're at and where you're going to get it from, this can cost you between $20,000 and $50,000. There are some options that you could work as a graduate assistant to cover part of this cost, maybe some scholarships, but you could still be walking out of here with a big bill or even more student loans than you already had. The Master's in Accounting program will probably take you at least a calendar year. There's a chance that you could go through random classes a little bit faster. Also, another con for the master's is this may require more time and work on your part to pass these master's classes. This isn't simply going to be your accounting 101 class anymore. These are going to be high level courses that will be difficult and take a lot of time. If you really want to be focusing on the CPA exam and that studying, you might not want to be focusing so much on these Master of Accounting classes. And also, too, you might just be tired of formal school after the bachelor's. You might not want to do an entire extra year of structured classes and just go to your community college and take some random classes. So what did I do? I did a little bit of both. I did go the master's route. So I have a master's degree in accounting from Ball State University in Indiana. That's where I did my undergrad, and it was a very easy transition. I was in the classes with people that I had taken classes with for 4 years. I knew them. We were all taking the CPA exam together. There were a couple times when we would go and study together and work with each other, do flashcards from Becker, and practice for the CPA exam together. I did take some classes at a community college. To register for the exam, you have to at least have 120 hours in Indiana, and I was a little bit behind that amount before my last semester of undergraduate school. So to get that 120 hours quicker, I took 3 random classes at community college, Ivy Tech in Indiana if you're from here. And I took a random health class, I took a payroll accounting class, and I took another business type accounting class. None of these were very difficult. I put minimal time in to do the assignments. They were all online, and I took these 3 classes in one semester while I was doing 15 credit hours in my undergraduate. So again, these were not high stress. These were on the back burner. I did the bare minimum I did to pass the classes and get the credits. So I didn't in the end choose to go do those 30 hours all at a community college. I could have done it. It would have been a lot easier than the work that I had to put in for the master's degree. I will say that it took a lot of time to do some of those assignments, to do some of the research, to write papers while I was trying to study for the CPA exam. Here's the big thing. Would I do it again? Would I go back and get the master's degree in accounting? Overall, I would have to say yes. I think I would do it again the same way. I think I would get the master's instead of taking random classes, and I'll give you some big points on why that is. I think one of the big ones, again, was the environment I was in. Having a class of 30 students, peers that I knew and I was friends with, we were all taking those exams together. It was really great to be accountable with each other, to work through the test together, answer each other's questions. I think that was huge. If I had just left Ball State and not been around all those friends that I was working with, if I had moved back home and was just taking random classes, I think it would have been a lot harder to study on my own and to keep myself accountable and keep working through all that material. It would have been a lot harder to do that alone. And that was just my perspective. Maybe you like to be a lone wolf and work through those things by yourself, but I found the community aspect of the master's to be really great. Now, I will say, as far as the future goes, has the master's of accounting on my resume really helped me get any jobs or get promotions this early on in my career? I would say no. I really think that most employers know that people with a master's did it to get the 150 hours. And not that it doesn't mean anything, you do have the master's degree, but I think a lot of people see it more as a way to get the 150 hours. They see it as a pathway. They don't really see it necessarily as a super high achievement, maybe in the same aspect as an MBA would be. It has some value, but again, I really don't think employers have put much weight in the master's that I have on my resume. I did leave the master's program with some extra student loans. That was a huge bummer. I worked as a graduate assistant, and I did get some tuition reduction because of that and a stipend, but I still left with extra student loans. If you're tight on cash or you already have a ton of undergraduate loans and you don't want to spend more, maybe going the community college route is the best way. My classes at Ivy Tech, the community college here in Indiana, were super cheap. It was really, really affordable, would have cost a fraction of the price of my master's degree. So all that being said, that master's program was valuable. I did learn some extra research skills, how to get into the codification from FASB, how to get into GAAP, how to do research. It really honed in on my judgment skills because when you get in the field, you will realize that nothing is black and white. Every transaction, every situation can be so gray. So you do need to have a really good judgment, develop your professional judgment, professional skepticism if you're in audit. And I think I did get some value from that, from the master's program. I would not say it was a complete waste of time. It did take a lot of work. It did take away a little bit from my studies. But overall, again, the community that I had, the support from professors while I was taking my exams, I think in the end that it was worth it. If you could find a master's program that's affordable and something that you still find value in, I think that is a good way to go. Again, this is going to depend on your specific situation, so many different variables, cost, the environment you're in, if you have friends in the program. But this was my opinion, and this is what I did to get my 150 credit hours. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to answer your questions on your specific situation. And let me know what you do. Did you take the master's? Did you take random classes at your community college? It's kind of a difficult time right now with that proposed ruling about switching to 120 credit hours again using the experience-based pathway. So the master's program, may not be so relevant in the next coming years if that gets passed. And again, if you have any questions, please leave them below. I'd love to answer your questions. Thanks for watching.